The three-way battle to be the Democratic Senate nominee in Michigan took a new turn this week after CNN's K-File uncovered that one of the candidates, State Senator Mallory McMorrow, deleted roughly 6,000 older tweets, taking jabs at the rural Midwest, complaining about leaving California, and saying she continued to vote there even after saying she moved to Michigan. This week, I spoke with one of her Democratic opponents, Haley Stevens, and asked her about those deleted tweets.
I thought it was a little tacky, and I think that it dovetails from things that we saw Mallory McMorrow say last year, saying that Michigan relies too much on manufacturing and that manufacturing workers, union workers should look at beekeeping and artisanal winemaking. It strikes me as very out of touch with what our state is all about. Saying that Michiganders are morons or questioning if we should even have cars anymore. I think she said that we should live in a world without cars. Why litigate that in a general election when we know we're in a swing state, when we know that Mike Rogers has been supported by Trump, has a $45 million super PAC behind him?
How big of a liability would this be for her in a general election?
Well, I find it very concerning.
Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow joins me now live to respond. Senator, thank you so much for being here. So what do you say to Haley Stevens? She just called your tweets tacky and argues that it shows that you're out of touch.
Look, we just saw what happened in Maine. I think the bigger liability is somebody who's been so concerned that one day they might run for office that everything about them is manufactured. And if that is what you're looking for, there are two other opponents in this race who fit that bill. I am not somebody who wanted to be in office or wanted to be in Congress when I was in diapers. I started my career as a car designer, and then I worked in a very different career and wasn't thinking about it. I tweeted normal things like a normal person, and people are desperate for authenticity. So that is what we need in November.
I want to dig a little bit deeper here because the K-File report showed that you wrote in your 2025 autobiography that you, quote, relocated permanently to Michigan in 2014. But there are social media posts of yours where you describe yourself as a California resident in 2016. And the reason why this is an issue is because you voted in June 2016 Democratic primary in California. And I don't need to tell you, but of course, you're required to vote in the state you're a resident of. So why would you be voting in California 2 years after moving to Michigan?
So we decided to move to Michigan in 2014. I was still working in Southern California. My then boyfriend, now husband, was working in Michigan. Like a lot of millennials, moving takes time. It was a 2-year process to finally settle in Michigan. And I registered to vote in Michigan in August of 2016 and voted in the general election in November that year.
But you wrote you relocated permanently in 2014, and you also posted an Instagram post that you had moved out of California, and that was before the June 16th primary in that state. Should you have voted in the 2016 primary in California?
We still had our place out in Southern California. And as I mentioned, we had multiple jobs. Moving is ugly. I wish we could have just upped and moved in one fell swoop, but that's not the case, just like it is for a lot of people.
Because you had criticized a Twitter user in 2024 for voting in Michigan after moving to California. You called it illegal then.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are doing that intentionally after moving permanently to a place, that is illegal. But in our case, it was a 2-year process. And when I was finally a permanent resident in Michigan, that is where I registered and that is where I voted.
Okay, so it sounds like you shouldn't have said you relocated permanently in your autobiography.
We made the decision to permanently relocate, but it does take time. And yeah, could have worded it a little bit differently.
Okay, so there were tweets of yours where you seem to take a jab at rural America. In 2016, a user posted, quote, I'm from the rural Midwest. All this talk about coastal elites needing to understand more of America has it backwards. You wrote in response to that user, this thread, I'm from rural New Jersey, this ranks 100%. So do you stand by that sentiment that rural parts of America can learn from coastal elites?
I think we all need to understand each other. better. Trump has succeeded in weaponizing us against each other, convincing us that we are each other's enemies. I've lived all over the country. I've met a lot of different people, and I stand by that. Was it the most eloquent tweet I've ever tweeted? No. I've tweeted thousands of times. There is a level of authenticity and just grappling in the wake of the 2016 election of how somebody like Donald Trump could have been elected. And what I know is we are not each other's enemies, and we need to understand each other better.
So because you stand by that, because it sounded like you did have some disdain for some parts of America that voted for Trump.
I don't. Was it the most eloquent thing I've ever written? Absolutely not. But I would argue most people are not particularly elegant on Twitter or Facebook.
I understand that you deleted these tweets, but as you heard from Haley Stevens, these could be issues in your general election if you are the nominee, like your post about cars. It does appear that you were joking when you said, joke now, but none of us own horses. Cars are dead. But even if that was a joke, Senator, you are from the Michigan, the hub of the auto industry in this country. Couldn't that be a damaging attack ad this fall?
So I would ask, could you put that screenshot back on screen? Is it possible to do that?
Sure. It's up there.
So if you look in this thread, Alex Roy, Jay Ramey, the people in this conversation are well-known automotive journalists. Before I decided to run for office, I started my career as a car designer. I worked as a toy designer. I was a writer for Road and Track. So this is me in conversation with a number of automotive journalists bemoaning the way that tech CEOs were talking about eliminating cars with autonomous vehicles and rideshare programs. That's what this is. That was me thinking about a dark future where there are no cars, and at a moment where big tech is taking over everything. Again, I go to people are desperate for authenticity. That is who I am. I came out of the auto industry. I came out of covering the auto industry, and that is not a liability. It is an authentic person who did not manufacture my entire life around potentially running for office. And people are fed up with the BS out of Washington, out of Congress, that feels overly manufactured. And it's time we do something different.
But why delete these 6,000 tweets? Because you did it after the New York Post had reported on it last year, and after you were a candidate in this race. I mean, there were things that you suggested. You suggested even there were parallels between Nazi Germany and what was happening in America under Trump. Why delete these after you became a candidate? Did you think they were going to be too problematic for you in this election?
I didn't. This was a decision to delete everything prior to 2020. One of my opponents, Abdul El-Sayed, did the same, deleting some of his more controversial views on completely defunding the police. It's cleaning up social media, which I think is something that everybody should take stock in every now and then.
Just to follow up on that question, do you personally see parallels between Nazi Germany and what's happening under the Trump administration?
Yeah, I do. It is deeply concerning that we see an authoritarian slide, and as we talked about earlier, dividing people against each other to convince people that if you're not doing well economically, it's somebody else's fault is an incredibly dangerous place for us to be in. I don't think that a lot of people would argue that there are shades of authoritarianism here that we need to be deeply concerned about.
I do want to ask you about the big shakeup in the overall race for the Senate majority this week when the candidate backed by Chuck Schumer in Maine, Janet Mills, dropped out of the Democratic primary, paving the way for the progressive candidate Graham Plattner to be the expected nominee there. I'm wondering what this says about how the party's base views Chuck Schumer and the state of the Democratic leadership right now.
Yeah, I am the only candidate in our race who said that I would not support Chuck Schumer for leader. And I said it on day one of this campaign because we are desperate for a new Democratic Party and new leadership in the Democratic Party that recognizes, not as a lifelong politician, but as an American and as Michiganders here, what's actually at stake here and what's on the line. It is the future of our country, and people are responding to that. I get asked regularly on the campaign trail what I think about the Democratic Party. Is the Democratic Party getting this right? I have been asked multiple times at events, would you support Chuck Schumer? And I've said no. And it is stunning to me that neither of my opponents can give a definitive yes or no on that simple question.
Yeah, and I was just out there and I asked Haley Stevens about Chuck Schumer. She said it was an inside baseball discussion. She'll deal with it when she comes here. Abdul Al-Sayed told me that he wants to see Chris Van Hollen, the senator from Maryland, be the next Democratic leader. So anyways, we'll leave it there. Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Monty.
All right.